So, hi Charles.
Hi.
Thanks very much for doing this interview for us.
All right.
You're here today on the last day of the Faster EFT Level 2 training.
Correct.
So, I just wonder if you could maybe give us a wee snapshot of your life before Faster EFT came into it. What was it like before Faster EFT?
I think before Faster EFT, my life was one of caution. Or thought I was basically a shy person, and using that as a way to have people kind of reveal who they were before I felt comfortable in revealing who I was. And by using the Faster EFT method, I was able to address some issues and become much more comfortable with myself. Therefore, I think I wasn't so much in that cautious mood of having somebody else talk about and share who they were before I then felt that it was safe to talk about who I was. Mm-hmm. So it feels much more natural when I converse with people now.
Very good, that's very interesting. Mm-hmm. So then, how exactly did you find Faster EFT? How did it come into your life? How did it show up?
I believe one of the participants who was involved in the beginning stages of EFT, that's from Oklahoma City, is a dear friend. We went to grade school together, hadn't seen each other for 50 years, and ran into each other at a high school reunion. She says, "What do you do?" And I told her what I was doing, and she said, "Well, gee, you might be interested in this Faster EFT." So she invited me to come, and I came to level 1 and was touched and certainly felt that I was provided some methods that I could address my issues. And what I found really refreshing about it is that years back I'd been in traditional psychoanalysis dealing with issues, and those very long, drawn-out process. And I found that I was able to address some items in a fairly quick manner. And the other part about it that I really appreciated is that it gave me a sense of control. I didn't have to sit and spiel and talk and go off this, but I could be active in terms of addressing those issues that I had some concerns about.
Okay, so that sounds very interesting. So what you're saying to me is that you had actually tried other modalities.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
And what is the main difference between the two of them for you?
Well, like I said, I think it's the self-empowerment in terms of actively being involved in your own healing as opposed to going to an expert and then they telling you that, well, I think you've addressed that issue and we can move on. I think with the self-empowerment that I've been able to achieve through this method, that I'm able to do that for myself. The other part about it that I really appreciate is that I can deal with issues as they come up, at the time they come up, and not say, my session is scheduled for next week. I wonder if I'll still remember or hold the same emotional content, next week when I have my session, as opposed to, really being able to address those issues at the moment, on the spot, and get a sense of relief from that.
So why do you think Faster EFT works? What is it about it?
I think there's definitely a mind-body connection, and I also buy into the theory that cognitively what you think is oftentimes how you feel and who you are. And I think through the method, particularly the tapping method, you're able to break that cycle and reframe it in a way that one is much more acceptable and much more settling in terms of just becoming at peace with yourself and not letting those past demons, be a part of your life. 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you're still responding to those things. And now I have a choice. I can deal with it right then, and then it doesn't have to be an issue that I carry with me for that period of time.
So what would you say to someone who maybe perhaps watching this might think, well, it's all too late. It's too late to change. What would you say to that person?
Oh, I would say that here again, based on my own experience, and certainly given my age, it's never too late, because we all want to be at peace, and peace can come at any time, whether with your peace with yourself. You know, whether you're 10, whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, just that sense of peace, I think, enables you to also be at peace with people around you. And as you get older and you have children, you have grandchildren, you know, that sense of who you are and who you project can definitely have a very positive influence on those around you. So in that sense, just for your own peace of mind and for those loved ones around you, it's never too late.
So here we are, we've just finished your level 2, and what would you say to people who might be thinking of coming for training?
I would say that if it's available, and that's sort of, for me, the blessing that I had is just sort of in a surreptitious manner, someone cued me in that this method was available. So if you have an opportunity, if something presents itself to you, by all means expose yourself to that and really see what speaks to you and what's of use to you. I don't think it has to be a thing where mentally, you know, maybe I should do this, maybe I shouldn't. I think it's a opportunity to be active in your own process and certainly your own recovery, whatever those issues might be. So it's never too late.
So aside from the training that you have received this week, what else have you benefited from?
I think a sense of purpose, and I think a sense of identifying and feeling a part of a healing community that I really think can certainly have some impact worldwide, you know, and it's certainly at some of its beginning stages, which is also kind of exciting to be here now at this particular juncture in terms of the development of the Faster EFT process. So in some ways you feel a little bit of as a pioneer as well. So if it's available to you, you know, avail yourself and see what happens.
And what would you have to say about Mr. Smith's style?
Robert G. Smith. I think Mr. Smith is a living testament to the process and using the techniques. You know, we all have issues in our life, particularly growing up, and he had his sense of trauma, as we all have at some level, and is able to share that in a manner that says, gee, you know, that made a difference for him, you know. And obviously if I assert myself and avail myself to the process of the techniques, can be available to me as well. So I think in that sense, he's almost a walking advertisement in terms of, hey, I did it, you can do it. And I say to you, I did it, you can do it.
Good man. So finally now, where do you think the future of Faster EFT lies in the world?
I think the future is something that, you know, can be applied not only on an individual basis in terms of what's happening to you in general, but I think also the methods could have some real benefits to nation upon nation. You know, I think we all carry the past, and the past kind of dictates the present, and you don't have to do that. Nations don't have to do that. Conflicts can be resolved in terms of using this method, and you know, I would love to see it in the UN, say, or you know, Israeli-Arab peace negotiation. I really think that this is something that is applicable to more than just dealing with personal issues, but it's something that can resolve conflict universally.
So that's wonderful. Thank you very, very much for your interview today.
Pleasure being here.